intersection on the 9300 block of Corbin Avenue.
He's going to be crossing over to the east side of Corbin. Look at that.
Oh, there he is.
We're going to back up from these officers. He's not going to comply. Southbound Corbin towards Prairie on the east side, still right in the skateboard.
Air 10 is requesting.
Go for it.
Working to evade officers, dismounts his skateboard and runs into the parking lot of a nearby business. During that ensuing foot pursuit, Iraheta turns and points that reported firearm at officers, and an officer-involved shooting occurs. A portion of the incident caught on the body-worn camera of Devonshire Area Police Officer Carlos Huerta.
Get on the ground!
I missed something. Did the guy turn and shoot, or did they already see the gun at that point?
No, he already saw the gun. I think we featured this about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Well, we didn't watch this one.
This is
I remembered
LAPD.
That whole incident unfolds in less than 25 seconds. But take another look at that critical moment as a fleeing Iraheta turns and points his gun at officers.
Ah, there you go.
Officer Huerta's body-worn camera, not the only one to capture the shooting. There's also the body-worn camera of Officer Huerta's partner.
So Scott, he turns, points a gun. What can the officers do?
Shoot him.
Meanwhile, a parking lot security camera also rolls, showing Iraheta, gun in hand, fleeing from Officer Huerta, Huerta's gun drawn as he makes chase. Following the officer-involved shooting, Iraheta continues running before turning that corner and running out of steam.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Spread your feet! Spread your feet!
Put your arms out to the side! Don't move!
Keep coming. Make a right. Nice and fine. Make a right. All right, go to the next opening. Behind that building, go to the next.
Steve, what do you think?
You know, Mark, a lot of the public doesn't understand that I've been out of the business for a while, but when I was in the business, each agency had their own shooting policy, okay? And no two shooting policies were alike from all the different agencies in California. I don't know if there's a statewide shooting policy now that all the agencies have to adhere to, because now they have these where the agencies aren't investigating their own officer involved shootings now. They have outside agencies, and that just wouldn't work when I was working, because how can an outside agency who doesn't know our shooting policy investigate our shooting? So I'm a little confused now as to how this works. But in my day, that would have been a good shooting.
I think it was.
I agree. I think it was a good shooting. I think some of the other thing people might look at tactic wise, it seemed like they took a really long time to approach that guy. And you would look at it and say, well, the gun's clearly on the ground, right? What's the big deal? Walk up to him. And the thing is, what we're trained, it's just because there's one gun doesn't mean there's not two. Doesn't mean he doesn't have another weapon. So you and when you don't work with other people all the time, you got to take a second to make sure your tactics are clean, and make sure you walk up to the guy and you take him on. Because my first thought was, well, run up and grab the guy. The gun's laying on the ground, but you gotta slow it down. There's no reason to be in a hurry at that point, because it could be a gun, it could be a knife, it could be anything else that could be a weapon that he could have pulled out. And that's why people, yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead.
No, so people were wondering why the officers stood back for so long before they approached him. That's why.
And we don't. Yeah, and we don't know what different police academies are teaching nowadays. You know, what we were teaching in my day, could be
Yeah, like, wow.
completely antiquated and off base to what the officers have to face with now. We didn't have to be tried on. We didn't have to face trial on Facebook.
I think we were talking about that last week, Steve. We asked if there was any Florida officers to call, because we noticed that the officers weren't drawing down on people with guns, whereas where we were trained the way we were, if a guy has a gun on his side and a rifle slung over his shoulder, I'm going to draw down. But I don't know if they're trained or told, because it's one of those states that any fool can carry a gun. You're not allowed to draw down on everybody.
Well, obviously, I missed the guy brandishing the gun when they were running. I didn't understand why the cop was shooting first, but you saw it, or you've seen this before. And then when they slowed down the video, obviously, so the officer saw the gun and shot, which was the appropriate thing to do. Let's listen to what's going on here.
Why is it bleeding?
After taking Iraheta into custody, officers render aid to the gunshot wound until paramedics arrive. Once they do, Iraheta is taken to the hospital in stable condition for further treatment. Back at the scene, investigators gather evidence, recovering a loaded black steel 9mm semi-automatic Glock 19 pistol with a high-capacity magazine and additional live ammunition. Iraheta, not the only one to sustain a gunshot wound. At least 2 cars are hit in the crossfire, though no officers or community members were hit or injured. Iraheta was arrested and absentee booked for assault with a deadly
So to me, that's just a typical, I mean, what's the purpose here, right? He wants a confrontation because he was just doing it until the cops showed up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows what was going through his head, but that's irrelevant, because the officer has to respond to the threat,
right?
You know, and you have to neutralize the threat.
Yeah.
Well, like we always say, you don't have a choice. I mean, you don't have a choice to show up and go, I don't want to deal with this. I mean, you can.
And again, we have to follow, you know, a department policy. We have to follow state law. We have to follow court decisions. And it's all, and everything we do as a police officer is going to be reviewed by the district attorney, by our internal affairs, by the chief's office, you know, by maybe the federal court, and that crook doesn't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, and what's worse now is all of that and social media.
And social media, there you go.
And that's the biggest, because it doesn't matter what's right or wrong anymore. Sometimes it's what's perceived.
Exactly.
People and what people see.